So hi, what an unbelievable set of games. You reverse sweep Gravity, you reverse sweep Team Impulse, and now the 3-1 victory over Team Liquid to go to Worlds. As the in-game leader for Cloud9, was there anything that needed to be said, not just before the gauntlet, but sort of when you guys were down 2 games in rounds 1 and 2?
Well, I think we decided to stop trolling after the EL2. But nah, everyone on our team has gotten through a lot of best of fives already. So it didn't really matter that we started 0-2. You treat the game like 0-0. And I'm actually pretty surprised at how Jensen took the games. He was 0-2 and he's like, all right, dudes, we're going in now. We're going to win. And I was like, all right, I can appreciate that. So everyone had a very good mentality for the 0-2.
So about Jensen specifically, I just want you to sort of go over his growth because, he started off the split looked a little uncomfortable playing a lot of poke champions, and now he's back on the assassins, back on the control mages like Victor, and doing really, really well. Can you just walk me through a little bit of how you think his development has been this season?
Well, I think in the beginning of the season, Jensen was a little nervous to play. Had a lot of big shoes to fill, basically. And I don't know if his team was there to help him out that much. Since playing with Mios is a different playstyle, and I don't think they got along that well. So that didn't work out well for them. And then I came into the picture, and I used to play mid, and I know what mid laner needs. So I just basically would tell him I have his back. Whatever he does, go for it. If he dies, I don't really care. I'll carry him. So it's just like him having the confidence of his team to back him up and for him to do whatever he wants makes him a better player, because the reason a lot of players don't do well is because they're scared of making a mistake, and that makes them play more passive and things like that. But if you're allowed to make a mistake and you're not going to be harped on it, I think players will play better.
One of the things that we noticed about your, Cloud9's played this gauntlet was that you guys were incredibly aggressive around the objectives, particularly Baron. You guys forced a lot of Baron. Was that something that resulted of your practice, or was it sort of how the games flowed and it was working, you guys stuck with it?
Well, throughout the games, you have to test the other team, see what they're willing to do. You test Baron, you do it, see if they check it right away, or see if they just too scared to come over it. So you have to learn how to do a Baron bait and learn how to do Baron correctly. And that just takes a lot of practice, and that's something you actually need to do during the game itself too, to see how they reply to it. Once you figure out how they react to you trying to do a Baron or sneak a Baron, you can learn how to play around it for the next few games. So it's worth all they do.
Big special goes down. He can't land the headbutt on the pulverize. It's a 2-for-0. Cloud9's Baron bait works.
So I also want to talk about your champion selection this event and towards the end of the season, because you played a truly ridiculous amount of champions. I think it was something like 11 or 12 different champions. Does your history as a mid laner sort of influence how you approach the champion selection in the jungle?
I think I have a different mindset than other junglers, since obviously I started playing mid for the last 2 years. I feel like a lot of junglers are viable. I think people just have the same mindset. They have to, buy Sightstone, buy wards, drop wards around the map. You're not allowed to play greedy. But I feel like if you play around playing greedy and having, a more carry jungler, it can work depending on, if your team is good at playing that style or not. And if they're not, then it's not going to work out. But I like a lot of the jungle champions. I don't think they're, always broken or something. But there's, definitely picks that you can come out with, that are cheesy, I guess, that aren't standard. And I think having that in your pool is good to have.
So now with the confidence from this particular event, I mean, it looked like a really long shot, and you guys pulled it out with some really great games. How do you think that, this event will contribute to your confidence as you go up against some really, truly great junglers on the world stage?
Well, I don't even know who's a good jungler, so I don't actually care if they're a good or bad jungler, since I have no idea if they are. It's not like I've been jungling for 3 years, so it's I'm not going to try and compare myself to them or anything. I'm going to go out there, do my own thing. If they happen to smack me, then whatever, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to let that happen, but we'll see.
So despite the fact that the World Championship is being held in Europe this year, I know you're flying out to Korea in just a couple of hours. What is it about the Korean solo queue environment and the Korean team environment that makes it the place to go for preparing for Worlds?
Well, when we were last in Europe, I believe we all actually hated the solo queue over there. Since you can understand what they're saying, it's actually a very bad solo queue region to play in, since it's very, how to say it, people are mean. And then when you're in Korea, you can't understand them. So even if they're mean, I have no idea what they're saying. And outside of that, the ping is 7 ping. Korea is very small, so it's nice to easy to get food and things like that. Scrims, easy to set up. Europe is kind of pain. People are at different places, EU, East, West, Russia, etc. It's just a lot easier to play there. And the fact that a lot of teams are there, since you can play Chinese team, Korean teams. If you go to Europe, you only get Europe, so more choice.